Okay. All right. So this is the screen that you see when you first pull up the pole planner. At the top of the screen, it does give you the version that you're currently working in. If you're wondering if you have the most current version, you can go ahead and click the update button. If there is a new version available, it will prompt you and give you instructions on how to update the version that you're currently using. Now, the help menu, I want us to take a look at the help menu before we get started too, to just take a look at what the instructions say in regards to cable tray. If you have if you have cables that you use on a regular basis, you can go ahead and add that cable information into this cable database, and you can delete everything that's in here. The only reason it's in here is so that you can see that there's a field available. Then you can, of course, change your unit of measures. We'll go to pounds. And then our cables will actually, oh, nope, they didn't change. I thought they were going to change. Okay, so let's look at the help menu real quick here. Everything that you find in the help menu is really based on questions that we have received from people who use the pole planner. So a lot of this information in here will probably be relevant to, to you and your team and whoever happens to be using the pole planner. So here's a little section that talks about the cable tray and how to use the pole planner based, using the pole planner, which was really designed originally for conduit systems. So have you guys looked at this part of the help menu at all?
Yeah, we went through it in detail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. I'm going to close that out. And then we will go ahead and get started. If you have got a project, if you have project information you want me to enter into the pole planner, just let me know and I'll go ahead and just fill in the blanks. So I'm going to start a new poll, and it just asks you where you want to save your poll. And your descriptions can be, maybe east side of building A to west side of building A. Whatever works best for you, of course. And I know you've been working in the pole planner, so I'll try not to linger on some of this stuff. Do you have a conduit size that we're going to use a bigger conduit size because you're using cable tray. All right, so let's just do a 10-inch. Now, did you say you used a 16-inch? For some reason, I was thinking that number sounded. Did you use a
Yeah, I just
16?
saw that. Yeah, I just saw that on the help. It was like in the screenshot. And so,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, we have some different size tray. We have some 24-inch, 12-inch for our larger cable that we're pulling.
Okay. All right. Now, do you want to use 16 or you want to use 24? What do you want to use for an example?
Oh,
All
24.
right, 24.
Okay.
Let's try that.
All right. Okay. How about your cable information? Do you have an OD of a cable?
2.
2.49.
Oops. I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
2.49 inches.
2.499. All right. How about cable weight pounds per foot?
5.9.
5.9. Okay. And then how many cables?
It'll be one cable per pull.
Okay. How many cables would go into a tray normally?
The 24-inch tray is going to have 6.
6 of them. Okay. And so you
No,
pull.
I apologize. 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And so you guys don't pull all 8 cables at one time. You just pull one at a time.
just one at a time.
Okay. All right.
Those cables are incredibly heavy
Right.
and flexible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And forgive me for asking, but I'm not super familiar with tray installation. So is that the norm to usually do just one, or if the cables are a little bit smaller, would you pull them all at the same time?
Uh, for the CLX, it's just one. There's multiple conductors inside one jacket, so
Oh, gotcha.
it's
Oh,
the effect. It's the equivalent of pulling a conduit run.
Okay,
of,
so it's so that's
know.
here, let me okay, so I'm just going to get past here and then I got a question about that cable. So we won't add another cable. And then this is our coefficient of friction database. So I don't know if do you plan on using some lubricant? It can definitely make the pull easier. Have you looked at any of the lubricants?
Uh, it's not used with cable tray because it would be incredibly messy or below
Okay.
the tray. It'd just be sloughing off and then falling on people's heads.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So do you have a coefficient of friction number that you would like to use?
I do not.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna have some friction. What would you how do you think those rollers are working? Do you want to add any friction in there? Do you want do you want to add
Oh,
a COF number? Now, if we were pulling cable, let's just say we used polywater J conduit PVC. What is your cable jacket material?
PVC.
PVC? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
it's more like a rubberized PVC.
okay, all right. So if we were pulling in PVC conduit and PVC cable jacket, and we were using J, our low end coefficient of friction would be 0.11. If we were not using any lubricant at all, our coefficient of friction would be 0.67. And that's pulling, dry PVC and dry PVC cable jacket, of course, with consistent contact. And then in your cable tray, it's not going to be consistent contact, it's going to be intermittent. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So did you want to put in any friction, any coefficient of friction number in here? Do you want to just do a 10 just to have a number, or what are you thinking?
I would think that maybe half the 0.67 because it is going to hit rungs
Okay.
most likely.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do let's do 3.3.
Yeah,
All right.
fair enough.
That's a pretty high number too. Have you ever had an opportunity to the pulling equipment that you use, you have tension um you have tension measuring equipment on there like a dynamometer or something on the
Yeah,
pulling equipment. It would be really interesting to know what the ending tension is once you've pulled this cable, and I'll get to that once we get started here. So how about back tension? Do you want to include any back tension? That's how many pounds it takes to pull the cable off the reel.
we're going to have a Tucker buddy.
Okay,
So
so it'll be 0, right?
it should be
Okay,
relatively close.
all right. Well, you can always change it if you have to. Okay. All right. So now we have all the information in the pull planner where we can start entering our sections and it will start calculating tension based on the information that we've entered. Now I do have a question in regards to the cable. Now you gave me a 2.49 diameter and a 5.9 pounds per foot. Is that the entire cable? That is like one full cable that you're pulling through, right?
Yeah, it's a jacketed cable that has this one in particular has 3 hot conductors and 3 grounds and filling.
Okay. All
And
right.
yeah,
Okay. I gotcha. I think someone is trying to get in. Let me see here. Give me just a moment. Oh, they must have made it in. Okay. All right. Thank you for that information. I appreciate it. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in our design. So we'll add our first section. So this first section right here is, call it a straight section of your pull. So it's where your cable is not bending at all. It's just going straight. So how is your cable starting out?
straight,
Okay. And
just
then
off the reel for approximately 180 feet or
100,
160 feet.
okay, 160. Okay. All right. So 160. Okay, and then after that 160, where's your cable going?
Gonna go around a roller, horizontal.
Okay, and how many pounds? Did you determine how many pounds?
Oh, that in that straight length. So I
Nope.
said
So
100.
yeah, 160. So now we've got a roller. So because we're not going around, we're not doing an elbow, a conduit elbow. We're actually using a roller. And so what
Oh.
we need to do is we need to add the amount of pounds that that roller. Um, it would be an add-on.
Understood.
So what we do have, so if we pull up the help menu and we go down to, let's see, cables, I'm gonna pull up rollers and let's take a look at the rollers.
Well, it'll probably be a shiv.
Okay, all right. So here's our roller section in our help menu. And typically an add-on tension is 75 to 200 pounds. You could also take 15% of your incoming tension. So we could take 15% of 312 if that's what you wanted to do. But do you have a number that you would come across? Um, or do you want to use, because since we're at the beginning of the poll, maybe use 75 pounds?
Uh, I don't know if anyone else would care to weigh in on this. I don't know.
Okay, and then if we come down, I'm just gonna, so here now with the help menu, it's referencing 100 to 150 pounds. So you know what, let's do, how about
Yeah,
the,
that looks accurate. Sorry, I had to find my mute button, but yeah, that looks like what we're probably pulling. You know, with
so
the
you,
metallic sheath, so that does look
Yeah,
like
that
CLX.
is.
okay,
Yeah.
so should
Mhm.
we go ahead and do 100 pounds then?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. And then what is the bend radius?
approximately 60 degrees.
How about the bend radius in feet?
Oh,
It's a good question. I have the data sheet up here. It doesn't give you a,
Shouldn't be any less than 3 feet.
couldn't
You know,
be.
generally when I do trainings on the pull
yeah.
planner, if they don't
So
have it, I generally will do 3 feet for a
that
bend radius.
I would
Yeah.
agree with that.
Okay. And then
For
you
this.
said the bend angle was 60?
I think it's going to be 60 on for the pull,
All right.
and then they'll adjust afterwards.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. So actually, when we do a roller, we don't need the bend angle. We just need the bend radius in feet
Okay.
when we're doing a roller. Okay. All right. So then we're going to add our next section until we get to another bend. So how far are we going in our next section before we get to the next bend?
Call it 35, 40 feet. 40 feet.
40 feet. Okay. All right. Another roller. Do you still want to stick with the 100?
This one's going to pull from the horizontal and go straight up, so it'd probably be more tension on that 150.
Okay. So I already entered the information into this segment. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to change it to 150 and hit enter. So if you ever find yourself, you enter all your information and you're like, nope, that's not right. You can always go back and edit, make changes to it. All right. So coming out of that roller, then now now you said something about this being the cable going up or down now.
It's going to go up
It's going to go up.
90 degrees up.
Okay. And then up. And how far is it going to go up?
I'm going to say 66 plus another 15, about 80 feet.
80. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're going to go ahead and use another roller.
Yeah.
All right, now do you want to stick with the 150?
Yeah. I do.
Okay. Right, and 3 feet. Okay, and then where are we going from that roller?
I think we should be pulling out just off that roller
Okay, so is it
down,
straight?
well, it'll be a theta angle because it'll be angling down to the tugger.
Okay, and then what's the angle? About a 45?
No, we're gonna try and get less than that. We'll be out further, probably about try and be 30, 40 feet away. So probably about a 30-degree.
30? Okay,
Call it 35.
okay. Okay, and I'm sorry, did you say it was going down?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then how far?
40 feet.
40 feet. Oops. Okay, and then is your tugger done, or is your cable, is your cable done, or are we continuing on further?
No, that should stop
Okay,
on that
and then you would
on
just
that
do it.
segment. Yeah.
Okay, and then you just do a no bend. All right. So here's your tension numbers. Your ending tension is 1,190 pounds, and then here's your sidewall pressure. What's the maximum tension of your cable?
I do not know.
Okay,
Nate, do you know? That was like 5,000 pounds.
5,000 pounds. Okay, so you're actually doing really well on this. Provided that all of your rollers are in, are in good moving condition, just based on the information that I have, you're doing well.
Okay.
Now, I asked earlier about tension, and having a dynamometer or some type of measuring equipment on your tugger. So if you go to the COF backward calculation tab, so right now our calculation and ending tension is 1,190 pounds. That's the max tension that we would get on this design doing it inside the pull planner. Now, once you actually pull the cable and you get that tension report off of your equipment, come back to the pull planner, go to this section right here, backward calculation tab, and enter in the max tension that you got on that pull. And let's just say, just for the sake of this exercise, that you brought back the report, and the highest tension that you got in that pull was 600. We estimated 0.33 as our coefficient of friction in the design, but now we have our real numbers from pulling the cable at 600 pounds. So I'm going to press to calculate the COF. And so actually, our coefficient of friction is 0.01, if that was the number that you got from your equipment. Now, that might be a pretty unrealistic number at this point, but I wanted it to be dramatic enough where you would see a big difference. So
Mhm.
what you could start doing, and it might be helpful to you in planning future polls too, and even if you've got um, I worked with a big contractor, and they actually do this for all of their polls. They save and they get the measurements from the field, they save it, and they have a report. And that report reflects the real field coefficient that they got with all of their polls. And where this came in really handy is that they had been doing several of these similar projects in the past, recorded all of their field information, and then when they went to a new project, the owner of the project told them, you're going to use a 0.33 coefficient of friction. Well, when your friction is really high like that, you can't pull your cable as far as you would like to. So you want to keep your friction number, your coefficient of friction number low, and you want to keep that tension low on your cables. And because this contractor kept all of their field data, and they were averaging a 0.17 and a 0.18 in the field, they were able to convince the owner of the project to go ahead and let them use 0.17, 0.18 in their calculations so that they could make their design so they could pull their cables further and have less splicing, um, less manholes, less vaults. And they've been able to do it, and they've been very successful with it. And the owners are extremely appreciative to have field information at the ready for them. So just a thought for you and a suggestion, if you can kind of hang on to that information, it could help you in future pulls.
Excellent.
Now, if you wanted to change your coefficient of friction, you can go ahead and come up to this field underneath the toolbar, and you can highlight it. Maybe you want to do a 0.22, hit enter. And what enter does is it recalculates the program with the information that you've entered. If someone has decided that you should maybe add 20 pounds of back tension, you could go ahead and highlight back tension, add 20 pounds, hit enter, and the program will calculate based on that new back tension number that you put in. And of course, you can also change, your conduit information. You can, if this cable is wrong, you can right click on it and you can delete your cable. You can insert a new cable here, or you can insert a new cable here with this blue button. Now you can also do the same in your sections down here. You can highlight it, right click, you can delete and insert a segment down here as well. If you happen to make some changes in here, maybe the bend radius isn't really 3 feet, maybe it's 4 feet, so you put in a 4 and hit enter. Now, I'm going to tell you, we have a little bug in here somewhere and we're working on it. Sometimes when you go to make a change in here, it will give you an invalid. So if it gives you an invalid error message, just click OK and then highlight the segment, delete it, and then just insert a new one and enter in your information again. You can't make any changes to these segments if it's a partial segment. You have to complete the segment before you can make any changes. So let's just say that I'm pulling this cable for another 40 feet. And you're like, oh, no, it's actually 20. But I can't go back and change it until I have completed my segment. So I'll just do a no bend. Now my segment is complete. And I can come back here and then I can make my change. And then I'll delete that segment. So also, I would suspect that with the trays and stuff, you probably have one section that you generally start with. If you're wondering if you can start from the opposite side or reverse the pull, you don't have to re-enter in the information going backwards. You can just hit this reverse segment tab in the lower left corner, and it'll reverse that pull for you. And actually, if you can start from the other side, your tension is going to be quite a bit lower. We got 510 versus 1059 for your ending tension. Can you start from the other direction? I mean, I don't know if that's possible in your project or not, but
Yeah, we're just worried about cable runaway from dropping down the shaft.
got it. Okay.
Sorry, I came in a little bit late, but one question I did have, the roller add in pounds, where we put
Mhm.
150 in there.
Mhm.
What does that represent? Is that just what we feel like the added tension is on the wire because of the friction of the roller, or
Yes.
okay? Is there a better way to calculate that than guessing, or is there?
You could talk to the roller manufacturer. They would probably, well, they might have some numbers for you. Who do you buy rollers regularly? Do you know who you buy your rollers from?
Mainly Greenlee.
Okay, all right. So if you can maybe get a hold of a Greenlee rep, um, I don't have a contact. If it was like maybe Condux you were buying it from, we've got a pretty good relationship with them. I could probably find you someone to talk to, but um, that would really be your best bet, because we're really trying to do an educated guess based on the information that we find, to determine what you should use there. So if you came in a little bit later, I did pull up the help menu, and we got 100 pounds to 150 pounds right here. And it's just literature that we've read in regards to what to use for the pound add-ons for those rollers. We have 150 down here for our cable tray section. But then if you go up further into our help menu, so if you're using a roller, say in a conduit in a manhole, you know, we also had 75 to 100 in there. So if we go to roller, forgive me.
Yeah, it was-
Let me go back here.
Nate, I shared those pages in the chat if you wanted to look at them quickly. That
Here we go. Here's the rollers.
Yep.
So typical add-on tension is pounds is 75 to 200. And did you say you've got um, some information in regards to rollers as well?
I just found it on a PDF online, and so the link is in the chat.
Okay, well, let's take a look at that. Let me stop sharing.
Little meter projects are going okay.
Uh,
Do you want me to share that?
Chat.
Or-
Yeah, let's take a
or
look at
you
it.
got it.
Yeah, I can do it. Let's see here. Let me chat. Here we go. Pull it over. Greenly. And we'll share it. Okay. All right, so here it is right here. And then where did you find, did they give you pound suggestions in here?
Yeah, like there.
Oh, okay.
And then keep scrolling down and
Okay. Oh, this is great information. Thank you so much. Okay, you tell me when.
oh, I'm just looking at it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just keep on scrolling.
No, because there's all the formulas. I was just saying that they have information there
Okay. All right.
for a
Yeah,
couple of
no,
quick
this is
references, I think.
okay. That's great. Okay, 180 pounds going straight across. So 90. All right. So yeah, you might want to make some changes to your program based on what they've got in your poll, based on what they have right here.
Yeah, we can go through and
I
catalog
think there
what
was
we
a
have.
formula, Aaron. I
Yeah,
think there was a
there's
formula on one of that screen where you can figure out the actual poundage.
yeah, so I could probably put together a spreadsheet based on the rollers that we get in, and just for a quick reference of what we have and what it is. So
That's excellent.
I think this will work very well.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. Would you be willing to share your spreadsheet once you create it?
You send me
Oh,
your
great.
email and I'll share it.
Oh,
let you
that
know.
would be awesome. Oh, great. Thank you. And forgive me, who is this Kyle? Oh, Aaron. Aaron.
Aaron.
Okay.
But if you
Thanks,
send
Aaron.
everything to Kyle, he's much nicer than I am.
Oh,
yeah, I'll make sure you get it, Wendy.
okay. All right, great. Thanks, Kyle. All right. Now, do you have any other questions in regards to the poll planner?